The sky burns with the twin suns of Zephyr casting golden light. Over the endless dunes and the jagged black mountains that rise like the teeth of an ancient beast, the air trembles. With the distant roars of sand dragons and the rhythmic beats of war drums that signal the coming battle in the heart of the battlefield, stands Darius alone, human warrior clad in battered armor, his breath heavy, his body aching, but his spirit unbroken. Before him, the alien huntress looms tall and fierce, her emerald skin glowing beneath the war paint of her people, her piercing silver eyes locked onto him as she raises her spear. Her voice is a whisper on the wind, and yet it carries the weight of 1,000 battles. You do not belong here, off-roader, she says, and with a swift motion she hurls the spear straight at his heart. Time slows as the weapon spins through the air, the sharp tip reflecting the sunlight. Darius moves on instinct, his hand shoots up, and against all odds he catches the spear. The battlefield falls, silent warriors on both sides watching in stunned disbelief. The huntress steps back, her eyes wide. The law is clear, the sacred challenge has been answered in a way no one expected. The one who catches the spear claims the warrior who threw it. Darius exhales, his grip tightening around the weapon. He does not understand their ways, but the expressions of those around him tell him enough. The huntress who sought his life now stands as his bonded warrior. She is called Veil, and she is unlike any being he has ever encountered. Fierce yet bound by unbreakable code, she stands before him, rigid with barely concealed fury. You have taken my fate, she says, her voice a blade in the quiet. You have no idea what you have done. Darius meets her gaze, knowing that whatever he has stepped into, it is far greater than himself. The warriors of her clan watch, waiting for his response, waiting to see if he will honor their ways or be torn apart for his ignorance. The winds howl through the canyon as they leave the battlefield together, the air between them thick with unspoken tension. Veil moves with the grace of a predator, each step measured and controlled. Though she follows, she does not submit. Darius knows that trust is a distant thing, and he does not expect it soon, but the weight of tradition binds them together, and neither can break free without consequence. He grips the alien spear, its craftsmanship unfamiliar, but balanced and strong. It feels less like a weapon and more like a key to a world he never meant to enter. The night falls, bringing cold winds and a sky heavy with stars. Veil speaks little, her silence a shield against the strange bond that fate has forced upon them. Darius watches her as she kneels by the fire, her hands steady as she sharpens her blade. Her silver eyes flicker up to him, unreadable. You think this means I will bow to you, she finally says. Darius shakes his head. I think this means we are both trapped. Her lips press into a thin line. She does not disagree, but the fire casts long shadows, and in the distance something stirs. The attack comes without warning. Figures emerge from the darkness, swift and silent, their weapons gleaming under the starlight. Veil moves before Darius can react, her blade carving through the air with deadly precision. He fights beside her, his instincts guiding him through the chaos. The battle is over in moments, the attackers defeated, their bodies motionless in the sand. Veil wipes her blade on the cloak of a fallen foe, her gaze unreadable when she turns to him. You can fight, she says, but you do not know our ways. You will not survive without me. Darius exhales, knowing she speaks the truth, knowing that this is only the beginning. The journey takes them deep into the wilderness, where the air is thick with the scent of unknown flora and the sounds of hidden predators. Veil moves ahead, her body tense, her senses attuned to every shift in the wind. Darius follows, his grip firm on the spear that now symbolizes his claim. Though he never asked for it, they do not speak much, but when they do, it is brief and sharp. Veil tests him at every turn, forcing him to prove his worth to the unseen eyes that surely watch from the shadows. They come upon an ancient ruin, its stone walls covered in alien glyphs that glow faintly under the moonlight. Veil stops, her hand lifting to signal silence. Something is here, something ancient and waiting. The ground beneath them trembles, and a deep growl echoes from within the ruin. Darius tightens his grip on his weapon as Veil draws her blade, her silver eyes locked on the darkness ahead. A monstrous creature emerges from the ruin, its massive form shifting between solid and shadow. Its eyes burning with an unnatural light, it lunges, and the battle begins. Darius and Veil fight together, their movements synchronizing in an unspoken rhythm. Steel meets claw, flesh meets stone, and when the dust settles, the creature is no more. Vale looks at him differently now, as if seeing him for the first time. The ruins hold secrets that neither of them fully understand, but Vale knows one thing: the glyphs tell a story of an ancient warrior who once defied fate and changed the course of history. She does not say it, but the weight of the tale lingers between them. Darius feels it, to the sense that he has stepped into something far greater than himself. Their path is not easy. The huntresses of Vale's people do not accept his presence among them. Some challenge him, others ignore him, but all watch him with cold, calculating eyes. Darius does not falter. He learns their ways, he fights alongside them, and he earns their grudging respect, piece by piece, battle by battle. Vale remains a mystery to him, though the fire between them is undeniable. She does not yield easily, nor does she trust quickly, but there are moments in the quiet between battles, in the hush of night, where her walls slip, where she looks at him not with anger, but with something else, something unspoken and dangerous. The war that looms is greater than either of them. New factions move in the shadows, and alliances are made and broken with each passing day. The bond between them is tested as enemies rise on all sides. And the question remains, will they fight for survival alone or together? The fires of war ignite as rival clans move against them, their enemies, knowing that the bond between Darius and Vale is both their greatest strength and their greatest weakness. Shadows move in the night, figures whispering plans to sever the tie that fate has woven. Darius trains harder, his muscles aching, his hands calloused, his mind sharpening into something more than a mere soldier. He is becoming something else, something the huntresses did not expect. Vale watches him closely, as if waiting for him to fail, but he does not. The betrayal comes from within a faction, within Vale's own people, who see the bond as a disgrace. They strike in the dead of night, attempting to claim her back by force. Darius stands his ground, refusing to be pushed aside, and for the first time Vale fights not just beside him, but let for him her blade, finding the hearts of those who would see them broken. Together they stand unyielding, as the blood of traitors soaks the earth. The elders summon them, the ancient rulers of Vale's people, their expressions carved from stone, their voices heavy with judgment. They demand to know what he is to her, what she is to him. Vale does not answer at first, her silver eyes unreadable. But when she speaks, her words shake the chamber. He is mine, and I am his. The silence that follows is deafening, but the meaning is clear. She has chosen him, not just by law but by will. The battle comes swift and merciless, their enemies descending like a storm. Darius fights with everything. He has Vale at his side, the weight of destiny pressing down on them. Both warriors fall around them, the world a blur of steel and blood and dust, but in the end they stand victorious together, their bond unbroken, their fate sealed. The cost of victory is heavy, the scars they bear, both seen and unseen. Darius wonders if he has truly won, or if he has simply survived. Vale stays close, her presence steady, unshaken by the weight of what they have done. Yet in her eyes he sees something new, something he never thought he would find in the gaze of a huntress. A future. The law that once bound them now holds no chains, for what was once forced is now chosen. They stand before the elders not as captor and captive, but as equals, as warriors, as something more. The traditions of old have been challenged, and though not all accept it, they cannot deny what they have become. The twin suns rise over Zephyr, casting golden light over the land that has seen their trials, their victories, their losses. Darius grips the spear that once symbolized his claim, but now it is not a claim, it is a promise. Vale steps beside him, her silver eyes meeting his without hesitation, without fear. Together they turn to face whatever comes next, for theirs is a bond that cannot be broken, not by war, not by law, not by fate itself.